when I punish you real bad, you gonna remember it.
Right.
And most dudes that Tank knock out, what happened? I want a rematch.
Right.
I could have won that fight. And when you get punished, you don't say nothing.
When you see this fight, do you see like Tank just having his way with Jake? Like giving like, no?
No, I'm telling you, this is what I tell Tank. And Tank said it in the interview. I said, Tank, y'all going there doing y'all thing, woo, woo, woo. And I said, he ain't giving you nothing.
Tank Davis is a phenomenal puncher and an accurate one at that. But dude, this is a monster. Even Tank, when I asked him how far his power carried, he told me light heavyweight. That's 175.
At the fiery press conference, tempers flared fast between Gervonta Davis' coach, Calvin Ford, and Jake Paul. Frustrated, Ford snapped and called Jake a clown, daring him to fight using smaller 10-ounce gloves instead of the standard 12-ounce ones. He challenged Jake's confidence, asking why he needed extra padding if he was really as powerful as he claimed. The back and forth electrified the room, filling the air with excitement and tension as the crowd erupted.
This is a very serious fight, and I'm a very serious person. My question to you is, where did 12-ounce gloves come from? Why y'all couldn't take 10 and he had 8? Already he giving up 4 ounces of the gloves. I gotta say this because y'all betting all this money. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, wait. You guys were the ones that wanted 12-ounce gloves, not me. I'll do 8. Fuck, I'll do 4. I'll do 2 ounces. I'll do bare knuckle. Like,
I wasn't aware of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that he can handle himself.
so what do you want? 10 ounce? 8 ounce? What do we want?
If he the one said that, I'm gonna go with that. I wasn't aware of that.
No, the 12 ounce came from your guys' side.
No,
and
it's
I
not.
On God. Perfect. Then what do you want? 10?
No, I didn't say that.
After the intense press conference, Calvin Ford, Gervonta Davis' longtime trainer, spoke with confidence about the fight against Jake Paul. He admitted that Jake's size could give him a small edge, but he's certain it won't matter against someone like Gervonta. Ford has seen Tank grow and sharpen his skills for years, and he knows no one matches his mindset or talent. To him, this will be Jake's first real challenge against an elite fighter. Jake may have faced athletes and retired boxers before, but going up against Davis is a whole new level of danger. Ford isn't concerned about the weight gap. He believes Tank's focus, accuracy, and composure will set him apart. For Calvin, size doesn't win fights, heart and skill do. And Tank, he says, was built for moments like this.
In life, that's what I call it, hiccups, but they lessons to learn from. But we back on track and we're keeping it moving.
When you heard about the fight, were you like, wait, what? Like, we're doing what?
Actually, when I heard about the fight, they called me and said, what you thought about the fight? I said, the fight doable. You know what I'm saying? Because I watched Tank for years and I watched other young men in gyms, you know, deal with big guys. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he's big. To me, it's like Jake having his first open fight. If anybody know about the amateurs going open, then you go pro. So, you know, he's a great fighter guy that does have skills. You know what I'm saying? My only concern is, you know, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake. He fights in 10s. Tank fighting 8s, so he losing 4 ounces. So my thing is, I said, they said, put Tank in 8s, put him in 10s. That makes the fight more interesting. You know what I'm saying? And we'll go from there because I understand. And I brought that question up to one of his handlers.
Boxing analyst Luke Thomas saw things a bit differently. While he praised Gervonta Davis for his explosive power and sharp instincts, he also noticed something strange about Tank's mindset before the fight. Luke felt Davis seemed distant in interviews and press events, almost like he wasn't taking Jake Paul seriously. To him, it felt more like a business deal than a real fight. Thomas warned that overlooking Jake's hunger and drive could be a big mistake. Jake may not have Davis's skill, but he's fueled by pride and a strong desire to prove himself. His comments reflected what many fans were already wondering: is Tank truly locked in? Or is he just treating this fight like an easy payday?
So in that sense, it's a little bit different. It's not different in the sense of a boxer in his prime or relative prime straying off the path, but this one is not. It's not like someone else, you know, in a similar weight. It's like completely the opposite, and so that makes it, I think, look and feel weird. And then on top of it, obviously, you know, Gervonta's got other business to handle. He looked to me, Gervonta, absolutely, completely disinterested. Even at the beginning of this year, and dude, even at the pre-fight Lamont Roach stuff, Tank was talking about how much time he has left in boxing, which he wasn't much. You know, I mean, the Lamont Roach fight, I mean, it blew up in his face, but Lamont Roach was cherry-picked. You know, I think Tank thought, oh, I'll just fight another guy from, you know, the mid-Atlantic area who's, you know, remember Roach came up from 30 to 35 to fight him, and Tank thought he was just going to cruise, and then it blew up in his face, and, you know, you're left with that. So, like, you're making a point about, like, oh, he's got this obligation. That's true. But he was already fucking around. He was already taking opponents that, again, I think Roach showed everyone that was a mistake, but put yourself in Tank's mind. Tank was taking a fight against someone he was clearly, in his mind anyway, better than, and was just going to cruise. So he was already in that state. Then you marry that with statements like, you know, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I'm worried about going to therapy because it'll take away my competitive edge. And, you know, kind of teetering on the edge a little bit about like whether or not this is a thing he wants to do. Then he, you know, there's a draw in that fight. And
still, most boxing experts believe Jake Paul is about to get a harsh reality check when he steps in with Gervonta Davis. They highlight the huge gap in experience, skill, and fight IQ between them. Tank has spent years battling elite opponents who know timing, footwork, and defense inside out, while Jake is still picking up those lessons. Analysts call Tank's precision deadly, saying one clean shot could instantly change everything. Jake has power, no doubt, but he's never faced anyone who punches with such sharp, controlled force. And even though his defense has gotten better, experts think it's still too predictable to survive Tank's nonstop pressure.
Tank Davis look crazy, bro. Chilaquiles. Gervonta Tank Davis hitting a heavy bag in preparation for his Jake Paul fight November 14th down there in Florida. Man looks absolutely amazing. Man looks like a monster. Man looks like precision. Jake Paul cannot take those body shots. You mean to tell me somebody who done fought UFC fighters and a man with Parkinson's disease can take a body punch from Gervonta Tank Davis, and y'all basing y'all logic just because Jake Paul is big? No, Tank's gonna go ahead and put this man to sleep. I'm telling y'all that right now. If Tank don't put this man to sleep, he done let the black community down, he done let boxing down, and he ain't never been that nice. You Tank fans, y'all trying to give him a pass. If y'all said Tank is as skilled as y'all say he is, if he does not put Jake Paul to sleep and stop Jake Paul, his boxing career is absolutely voided. He already don't care about legacy, and just imagine he don't knock out Jake Paul, and now y'all wanna say it's not a real fight, it's an exhibition. No, we not giving no passes, bro. This Gervonta Tank Davis, he needs to put Jake Paul to sleep. I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, Jake Paul too big. No, Jake Paul chin ain't never been tested by somebody that hit as hard as Gervonta Tank Davis. Tank should put this man to sleep with ease. I'll say that respectfully. If you don't put him to sleep,
a 2-pack of ass. That shit stinks.
That's a 2-pack of ass at the highest level. And it's a musty energy at the highest level. Get it together. Get it together. Tank looks amazing. That's the Chilaquiles.
Several analysts also talked about Coach Calvin Ford's confidence that Tank can win despite the size difference. They highlighted Ford's long history with Gervonta, training him since he was a teenager, and his track record of guiding smaller fighters to victory over bigger opponents. Ford often says that skill and timing can beat raw strength any day. He even pointed to past fights like Davis' win over Ryan Garcia, where Tank showed that power alone doesn't decide who wins. Ford emphasized that real boxing is about adapting, reading your opponent, and striking at the perfect moment. With decades of experience behind him, he's sure Tank will handle Jake Paul without much trouble. For Calvin, this fight isn't a gamble. It's proof that true skill always beats size and height.
And for ban on what you make. Again, there's nothing wrong with Tank going to get his money, but let's all be clear that that's all the fight is for Tank. He's telling you without telling you that he's fighting Jake just because he's getting $40 million. So when we talk about boxing being dead, Tank has to line up at the front of the line. I can't blame him, but don't throw around, oh, boxing's dead and people switch sides and all of that. You chose not to be great. That's it. You chose not to be great. Stuff like that, choices like that will kill boxing. For sure. On a competitive level, it won't kill it on a business level. On a business level, until people run out of interest in these kind of matchups, it'll do well. On a competitive level, choosing not to fight the best will kill the sport. So maybe it's better if people like Tank aren't in the sport. And I don't even say that because I want that to be the case. I think Tank is ridiculously talented, but you can't want a fighter to fight more than what they want to. You can't. Tank fans or Tank people that like Tank and think he's one of the best, you can't want it for him. And then Shakur came back with, that's how I know you soft. I can't even go back and forth with you soft ass. You rather pop to me on social media than get in that fire and get embarrassed. I get it. Peace and blessings upon you, cuz. He says, the people got your chest out so bad. You talking like you a killer, forgetting that you the one that runs, bitch. I'll be bring the fight to you. This dude, a made-up character. Quote, blessings upon you. Clown-ass dude, wanna be Kevin Gates. Oh my goodness. I mean, here's the thing though. You can't say that stuff about Shakur if you're not willing to fight him. This is the point I think that we're gonna come to today, is that Tank can say all this stuff he wants, but if you're not willing to fight Shakur, then none of it means anything anymore. Even if you believe that Tank is gonna knock him out, even if you believe that Shakur's a runner, or that he's not in the trenches, or he's not a boxer that's willing to bring the fight, or whatever, none of it matters. You're talking from the sideline.
Calvin Ford's relationship with Gervonta Davis runs much deeper than that of a typical coach and fighter. He's been by Tank's side from the very beginning, from the tough gyms in Baltimore to the bright lights of the world stage. Ford often calls Davis his son rather than just his student. That bond makes him both proud and protective. As the fight with Jake Paul draws near, Calvin admits he feels a bit uneasy, not because of Tank's skills, but because of all the chaos surrounding Jake's fame. The spotlight, the media frenzy, the drama, it can all be a distraction. Ford just wants Gervonta to stay grounded, focused, and to never forget his roots or the reasons he first stepped into the ring.
First met him, he was 11 years old. And I seen him in the ring, and his dad was standing beside me, and I started to break a tear because I remember us coming up in the amateurs together, and he looked at me, he said, man, I said, no, I'm so proud of you because you're still with your son doing what you're doing. And it explains a lot about boxing. Boxing, man, it saved lives, it really do. It really do save lives.
Yeah, and like you said, Dad, you've always been part of Boxall's journey from being one.
Yeah.
Seen the brand grow to its collaboration.
Super brand there. It's a super brand. It's Super Box Raw.
You seen it from day?
Yeah, I seen it from day one, man. When he first came around, man, nobody wouldn't give him the support that he was looking for. He came around us, man. First day we started off with wearing his clothes. He actually let us make our own gorilla and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Everybody says.
Former UFC champion and analyst Michael Bisping offered a fair and thoughtful take on the matchup. He praised Gervonta Davis for his elite skill, calling him one of the sharpest and most explosive boxers in the sport today. Still, Bisping reminded fans that size matters in combat sports. He explained that while Tank's technique and ring IQ give him a major advantage, Jake's bigger frame and natural strength could test how well Tank handles heavier shots. He added that endurance and power might play a bigger role than people think. Bisping admitted that Gervonta has beaten larger opponents before, but Jake's strength and athletic build make this fight different. In the end, though, he believes Tank's intelligence, timing, and movement will help him outthink and outmaneuver Jake Paul for the win.
And number 3, to retire.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face. Yeah, they gonna have to feel that. The backlash I get, I understand. What'd you say, number 2, not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur. That he ain't gonna do him no favors. That he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean? That's against the game. Like, you know what I mean? You at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean? You owe the rematch to Lamont for the game. But you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 style matchups. You know what I mean? But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about it. But it is kind of crazy. It is kind of corny. You know what I'm saying? If he not gonna fight Shakur, and if he's standing on it like, I'm not ever gonna fight you, I'm not doing you no favors, and all right. But then again, you know what? I don't know what them guys got going on. I don't know what they've been through personally. You know what I'm saying? But would I love to see that fight? Hell yeah, I would love to see that fight. And then number 3, you said what? You said
retirement.
The retirement. Oh, boxing. Boxing. They're around. There's always gloves around. It's on you. It's on you. I'm chilling. You all right? Yeah, get with me. I know. How you feel? Dark skin boy. That's my man. The retirement is like he done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is this business is a lot. This whole experience is a lot. The shit these fighters go through is hard to explain. It's hard to explain because people, they can't see it, so they can't understand it. But it's stressful to the fighters because they coming from just getting ready to fight in the amateurs, being prepared, going out there, win, get it done, celebrate, all right, we back to the next camp. To now, marketing. You're talking about marketing. You're talking about lawyers. You're talking about all this shit that you just never imagined. You're like, why do I have to deal with all of this shit? People trying to